I was recently sitting around with my brothers and sisters telling stories from our childhood. My brother remembered a time when he was trying to get my sister Stephanie into trouble. We were on a long car trip, and back then we had to make our own drama for entertainment. He hollered up to my mom in the front seat, "Mom, Stephanie only brushes her teeth once a year." My indignant little sister, who was about 5, quickly replied, "Nuh-uh, I brush them 5 times. She was really mad when we all laughed. So to this day, in honor of my little sister Stephanie, every year Mike makes a resolution to brush his teeth at least 5 times a year. But when the dentist expects you to brush twice a day, or 730 times a year, 5 times is not really that much better than 1 time. It's all about expectations, and numbers are meaningless without context. Hello, I'm your host, Miriam Brown. In addition to my teaching certificate, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in curriculum and instruction. I spent the last decade as a public school teacher, and I want to give you insider tips on how to help your child do well in public school. Today, let's talk about the math expectations for first grade. I spent some time planning out what I wanted to talk about this season for first grade. I thought about publishing a checklist of skills to work on at home, but checklists are really boring, and home learning is meant to be sort of fun. Let's leave the boring bits for the school. So instead, I made a little game board that kids can color in. You can check it out or download a copy for free on my website, publicschoolsuccess.com. That's all one word, Public School Success. I'll make sure to add a link in the show notes. In preschool, your kid should have learned the numbers 1 to 20. In kindergarten, 1 to 100. In first grade, they need to know up to 120. That shouldn't be too hard, right? Well, maybe. The truth is, there are some hurdles to learning numbers past 100. Maybe it's just that we commonly stop at 100, so kids are just not as familiar with the numbers that are greater than 100. Also, you're adding a whole new digit, and that can be confusing. So although it might be easy to say the numbers past 100, in order to understand 3-digit numbers, your kids will need to understand place value. Your child will probably notice the patterns of the numbers is just repeating after the word 100. They might still pause and think when they transition over the 9s, like 99, 100, or 109, 110. But your kid will probably be able to use their background knowledge of numbers to figure this out pretty quickly. However, reading and writing numbers might be a bit more difficult, and you might want to practice. Often, first graders will want to write 101 the way they say it. In other words, they'll mistakenly write a 1 and 2 zeros for the 100, and then just add another 1 on the end, which is actually 1,001, not 101. In order to get this right, they're going to need to understand place value, which just means that each digit represents a quantity based on where it is. The first digit represents the 100, the second digit represents the tens, and the third digit represents the ones place. They probably already learned that the 1 in 16 represents one group of 10 instead of just one item. And in the number 26, the 2 represents 2 groups of 10 items, not just 2. And so on. Groups of numbers become very important at this stage. If you listen to episode 22 about pennies, you might remember that I also like to use coins to help kids learn place value. It helps if kids learn that 10 pennies are equal to 1 dime, and they can change them out back and forth. 10 dimes can be traded for $1 or 100 pennies. By the way, they're canceling the penny, so you might want to run to the bank and get at least 2 rolls before they're gone. You can pass them down to your kids as math tools. Coins can be used to extend place value understanding past 100, and in the 4th grade, they're really helpful when learning decimals. Another easy math tool you can make to help them learn about place value uses beans and popsicle sticks. Each bean is worth 1. You help your child make tens by gluing 10 beans to a popsicle stick. Then each stick will be worth 10. Then you glue 10 popsicle sticks together on a scrap of paper to make a block of 100. These 100 blocks are kind of fun to make, and you can keep them in the junk drawer for a bit to help with homework. A tastier but less healthy idea would be to use candy. You could put 10 gummy rings on a stick of licorice. You could then string the licorices together to make hundreds. I've also used marshmallows and pretzel sticks in a muffin. It's the same idea. You put 10 marshmallows on pretzels, and then you stick the stick of pretzels in the muffin, so the muffin represents a group of 100 marshmallows. You just want your child to start understanding the groupings of 10. It's important when you're doing these things that you're writing the numbers down on a piece of scratch paper as you're doing it, so they can be connecting their sticks or licorice groups to the digits on the page. Making place value groups is fun to do, but it requires a bit of preparation, so it isn't something you would do very often. One thing I like to do at bedtime when we're reading stories, we count how many pages of the book we read, and I have a piece of scratch paper as a bookmark. Each night, we add up the number of pages to the pages we read the night before, and then we write that number down, and it helps them start writing their digits and place value. I usually help them add in first grade, but sometimes you can do it by counting on. So we read 15 pages last night, 15, 16, 17, while keeping track on your fingers. This is really important, and it'll help you because if you're going to keep practicing counting, it's kind of annoying to count all the way to 120. So I like to start counting at like 90 and say, let's practice counting starting at 90, and then go on from there. Another cute idea that I found on teachingexpertise.com, they made a hundreds chart and labeled it 100 acts of kindness. Since we're talking about 120 this year, I made you guys a printable chart with 120 hearts. I'll post it on my website and leave a link in the show notes. You'll want to kick off your 120 acts of kindness by talking to your family about the importance of being kind, and then hang the chart on the refrigerator. Whenever someone does something nice or notices someone else doing something nice, they can color in the next heart. Make sure everyone knows to color the hearts in order. Just looking at the chart on the fridge might help the kids learn the numbers. But if you talk about the chart at dinner and people can explain why they colored in the hearts, you'll get more bang for your buck. You could say something like, yesterday we had 24 hearts colored, and today there are 3 more, so now we have 27. Does the person who colored them want to share the kindness they saw or did? I liked how this idea teaches both social-emotional skills and also reinforces their number understanding. It really helps when you support your child's number reasoning at home with activities like counting money, making 100s crafts and snacks, and working with charts that show numbers up to 120. You'll be helping your child build their number sense because you'll be connecting what they learn at school to real-world situations, and that is where home learning really shines. These activities will be creating situations that help your child be able to visualize what large numbers look like and what they mean. And context is everything, just like my brother brushing his teeth 5 times a year. Sometimes being able to talk about quantities one-on-one with a parent can make all the difference in the world. So plan a fun number activity for the near future, but for now, it's just time to put down your phone and go play with your child.